Now, I don't have children that I know about, but if I did, these are 6 players, 6 running backs in particular that I would bet their lives on that they're breaking out in the 2025 fantasy football season. We've got some obvious names, we've got some mid-tier names, and we've got some deep sleepers for those of y'all in the 14, 16, 18 type beat leagues. We'll start from the very top, and listen, I'm not gonna dive into Ashton Genty. At this point, he is like a top 6 or 7 pick. Anyone who has ever heard of the game of football knows who Ashton Genty is. And it's pretty obvious that regardless of how he performs, he's going to get 300 and 350 touches and have a very, 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 very large rookie year. But on that same note, this is a very, very good year to invest into the rookie class. Some of you guys might just be getting back into fantasy. Some of you guys might have not really dove into the rookie class and really paid attention during the draft. So we are going to kind of catch you up here with the guys that I think coming out of the draft are set up to break out all over the place as rookies and will have impacts in year one. So we'll start with another first-round pick, and that was Omarion Hampton, the UNC running back that went to the Chargers. Now, this is a tweet that I posted a few weeks ago. There have been 21 running backs taken in the first round of the NFL draft since 2010, so we're basically at a 15-year sample size at this point. During their rookie season, on average, of these 21 running backs, they see 16.4 touches, 17.2 opportunities per game. Now, I tried to divvy it up into many different little segments of like top 10 versus top 20 versus top 30 versus this versus that versus the other thing. Most interestingly, what I found was the size of the running back typically dictated how many opportunities and touches per game these types of running backs got. So, first round running backs in that sample size that weighed 215 plus pounds, averaged 18.3 touches per game and 19.1 opportunities per game. Running backs in that sample size under 215, so even, the 212, 208 pound guys, 12.5 touches, 13.5 opportunities per game. So a pretty big dip there. And I think it's kind of obvious, like when you think about the smaller backs that come in, the more like speed, explosive backs, a lot of the ones that are of the smaller size that end up getting picked very early on, even if it's like the Jahmyr Gibbs was awesome as a rookie, but in terms of pure touches and volume, most of these teams that take these guys, whether it's the CJ Spillers of the world or like those types of players, they get drafted and the coach is like, oh, I know how to use them in these like specialty spots. When a bigger dude like Omarion Hampton, who's 220, 225, pushing that type of size around on the field, the coaches that draft them are like, yes, we have a void in the running back position, and you are now going to take the majority of touches back there, and you're going to lead the way, and you're going to be the guy that's on the field for all 3 downs and deep into the fourth quarter and impose your will on these running backs. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So for Omarion Hampton, who has a very, very, very big number pop up on the scale when he steps on, these types of numbers feel good to me. From a more holistic standpoint, the Chargers, they're a super run-heavy scheme. That's no surprise here. They had the 10th highest run play rate last year in the NFL. And when you look at the majority of teams above them, Washington, Indy, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Baltimore, Philly, they all have rushing quarterbacks. So realistically, if you're accounting for like the pocket QB pass rate, the Chargers are like top 3 or 4. You go out, you invest in Najee Harris, and then Omarion Hampton. It's like, of course, they're telling you that they want to be run heavy. Now, obviously, that is the giant elephant in the room here. We got big fat Najee Harris in the backfield, probably soaking up some touches, no doubt about it. I think they do start off as like a 1A, 1B. And this is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum of where they were last year, where they had J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, and it was like this guy was hurt for this period of time, then this guy got hurt, and they can never really rely on a single back. So I do think they will implement this 2-back type of set here so that they can have fresh legs at all times. So I think the first month might be slow. The first 6 weeks for an Omarion Hampton might be slow, but you're a first-round running back. Like, you are the impact player immediately. And I think by the second half of the season, we're going to see this split go 65-35 in favor of Omarion Hampton. This team's only going to get better. This offensive line is only going to get better. This scheme is only going to get better in their next year. And then I think about like Greg Roman with J.K. Dobbins at the end of his rookie season. If you guys remember when J.K. came into the league, and then the second half of the year, he was behind Mark Ingram for a lot of that. And then the second half of the year, J.K. Dobbins exploded. So I can imagine them unleashing a dude like Hampton towards the second half of the year. Last year, J.K. Dobbins ranked 7th in the NFL in yards before contact per attempt. So it's all good here for Omarion Hampton. You got the draft capital. You got the good team. You've got a lot of like floor cemented into the situation here, which is what you want for a running back at the end of the day. It's like, sure, you could figure out talent this, talent that, and like, I think he's better than him or whatever. But at the end of the day, you put a good back into a good situation, and he's going to be good at fantasy football. Next rookie on the list, we got my man Kaleb Johnson. He goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 3rd round. He's out of Iowa. Yellow to yellow connection here. He's a dude who's 224 pounds, right? Najee goes to LA. Now there's this gaping hole for a bruiser back in Pittsburgh, which they typically like to use. You have Jalen Warren there as the 1B, but Kaleb fills in for Najee. 224 pounds, 4.42 yards after contact per attempt, nearly 25% broken plus missed tackles forced per attempt, 4th best elusive rating in the class, top 5 in both 10 and 15-yard run rate. Despite him, he ran a 4.57 at the combine. At 224 pounds, that is perfectly fine by me. And then you layer in the tape and the film and the fact that he's top 5 in both 10 and 15 plus yard run rate. Same with yards per route run. Like, he is a very well-rounded back, and people have concerns about team he went to and like, will the scheme fit the type of scheme he was in college? This is perfect for him. Like, the Steelers was the perfect landing spot for him. This is a tweet from my man Adam over here. He says, really like the landing spot for Kaleb Johnson. Great scheme fit with Arthur Smith. The Steelers were 6th in the NFL in outside zone runs in 2024. 79% of Johnson's carries last year were zone concepts. Steelers last year too, like, their offensive line, maybe not as good in pass protection, but 9th overall in run blocking grade. Fits right into the Najee Harris role. Like, if you look at these clips from Mike Tomlin, it's like he can't stop talking about how Kaleb Johnson is a high volume back. He's a high volume back. He's a high volume back. Like, he keeps saying it over and over again this offseason. I genuinely think Kaleb Johnson's going to come out the rip and be their starter and their high volume back, get the goal line touches, and a dude who can play on all 3 downs. Similar to Najee, like, depending on when they needed him to do, he could do it. Like, he's got soft enough hands where Najee did it as a rookie. They just stopped asking him to do it, but he had it in his bag when needed, and I think that's what we're going to get from Kaleb Johnson. Rookie number 3, TreVeyon Henderson, running back out of New England. Well, out of Ohio State, goes to New England in the 2nd round. I love this dude. It is a fit into an offense. You saw me talk about Kyle Williams in the wide receiver version of this video. If you did not check that out, we will put it up here. We'll link it at the end of the show as well as in the show notes. Check that out. Kyle Williams was a rookie on this list. He was their 3rd round pick. You could just very, very clearly see the direction that the Patriots are going in here. They're trying to make their offense overall just more explosive. And how do you do that? You add a Kyle Williams. You add a TreVeyon Henderson. They had 0 of that explosiveness last year. What's crazy to me is, like, I don't know. I look back at the Patriots last year and I'm like, they were a team that was like never winning games. You put Drake May in and like they played throughout the 4 quarters, but they weren't really winning a lot of games. They stayed competitive because people were playing for Drake May, but they weren't a good team. And now they are favored this year in 11 of their 17 games. Like, this is going to be a genuinely, like, at worst, probably middle of the pack team coached by Mike Vrabel here. And you look at the offensive line, which was a massive weak point for them last year. They draft Will Campbell 4th overall. They add Garrett Bradbury. They bring in Wes Schweitzer and Morgan Moses in free agency. And what I think I like the most about TreVeyon Henderson landing here is, like, this is a brand new staff that came in. And this was their first, like, it was like offensive line, 4th overall. Then let's get our running back. Let's get our fucking playmaker here. So Vrabel, Josh McDaniel came in, picked their guy. TreVeyon Henderson is unbelievably explosive. He's a little bit undersized, 5'10", 202, which I think is a good secondary piece to a Ramondre Stevenson. But on that, like, when you think of Patriots football, what do you think of? You think of doing the right things, doing the dirty work, and taking care of the ball, right? Henderson had 0 fumbles on 667 touches in college. And he's one of the best pass blocking running backs that we've seen enter the league in probably half a decade. If that is not Patriots football, I don't know what is. And then you look at Ramondre last year, he had 7 fumbles. He led the NFL. Like, polar opposites here. And these are the type of dudes that the Patriots and Mike Vrabel are looking to insert into their lineup to not mess shit up. So one more quick little graphic from Warren Sharp here. TreVeyon Henderson, 7.6 yards per touch in 2024, number 1 in the class. 15% of runs gained 15-plus yards, number 1 in the class. 0 fumbles in 667 college touches, number 1 in the class. 95th percentile explosion score in jumping drills. All right, so TreVeyon, absolutely love the player. Can I talk myself into him becoming a 3-down back? I think health will be the biggest concern here. They might want to utilize him in a lower capacity to keep him healthy, but I just think he offers so much fucking explosion that, like, he can get it done for you on any given play. So we love We love Trey. A couple of other running backs, rookie running backs that I know I'll get some questions about that I'll cover very, very quickly. Quinshon Judkins goes to Cleveland. That's a really messy situation right now. Like, Cleveland's win total per Vegas right now is 4.5 wins. I don't typically love taking running backs that are on teams that are not expected to play well. And listen, I would have really liked Judkins, and he probably would have been on this list had they not taken Dylan Sampson in the 4th round. So they took 2 really, really talented rookies in the 2nd and 4th round. Now, obviously, that means they like Judkins a little bit better. Sampson was one of my favorite players in this entire class, and I think he's going to carve out a real role, and it's going to be like a 1A, 1B situation there. So I have a little bit of trepidation on like where I want to put my chips in that backfield. I like both players, and I'd be happy drafting both players, but I don't feel as comfortable like predicting a breakout for either guy, especially just with the state of the Cleveland Browns. And then there's going to be RJ Harvey, 2nd round pick to the Denver Broncos. RJ Harvey for me was not a dude who I loved his film whatsoever. I thought he missed a lot of holes, but that being said, Denver's got a very good offensive line. Sean Payton's very good at getting his running backs involved in the passing game, so I could see him having an explosion year just based on catching, 50, 60 balls, and they don't really have any other like running backs to compete with him in that backfield. You got Julian McLaughlin, you got Aldrick Estime, and it's not, it's no real talent back there, but he is relatively undersized too. He's like 205 pounds. He is an older running back as well. And like, I don't know, we've seen Sean Payton miss on some 2nd round picks before too, like the Marvin Mims, whatever, all that kind of shit. So it's like, I am cautiously optimistic about RJ Harvey. I don't like him enough personally to throw him on this list, but if you do like him, I understand why. A very, very explosive player in an offense that should allow him to really show that type of explosion. But we want to talk about explosive players. I got 2 more rookie running backs if you want to get a very, very discounted deal on. We've got Brashard Smith, the running back in Kansas City. He is a 7th round pick. And if you follow my Dynasty content, you've heard me talk about Brashard Smith before. He is out of SMU. Again, 7th round pick, goes to Kansas City. He's a wide receiver converted running back, runs a 4.39. And the thing I like the most about Brashard Smith is that he fits into what the Kansas City backfield is right now perfectly, right? He's a dude who complements a Pacheco or a Kareem Hunt right now. Like, very good pass catching back, really, really explosive, which is exactly what they did not have last year. They were using like Samaje Perine in 3rd downs. They were using Kareem Hunt on early downs. He had the #1 receiving grade per PFF among all running backs last year, and it wasn't even close. #1 in the class with a 25% target rate on his routes. #1 in the class with 1,300 return yards as well. #5 in yards per route run. Top 10 pass blocking grade too, which is very, very important. And I think that return yardage number is important because if they draft him to be the returner, that means he's going to make the roster, and then he'll get more opportunities in the backfield. But I just think he's going to develop into a clear 3rd down explosive weapon, similar to like McKinnon a few years back, if you remember him. And Brashard Smith was a good runner of the football too. So I think his role will expand as the season progresses. Maybe not someone that you need to draft in your leagues, but someone that I would be surprised if he is not like a waiver wire target at some point during the year. Same thing with this kid, Jaydon Blue, going to Dallas. He was a 5th round pick. Ridiculously explosive. If you watched any college ball last year, you were watching Jaydon Blue play for Texas, and like they went out of their way to get the ball in his hands, despite having Matthew Golden and Isaiah Bond and Gunnar Helm. He's a little bit smaller too, 5'9", 196, but again, really explosive, 4.43 40 time, 4 yards after contact per attempt, which is really, really good, but top 10 in the class in yards per route run, serious volume in the passing game, legit explosive pass catching guy. And why I'm excited about him is because he is a complete opposite of what they have in that backfield right now. Dallas let Rico Dowdle walk. They bring in Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. I don't know how much longer Sanders has in the league. Javonte Williams, I don't know if he could run like better than a 4.7 right now. So Jaydon Blue is a perfect complement to that. And if they're passing the ball a lot like they have in previous years, Jaydon Blue will play a lot on 3rd down. So I love the fit in Dallas here, and I think he's going to absolutely tear up the turf. So those are 2 deeper dudes. Again, you probably won't have to draft them in redraft, but if you're in best ball, that's some guys I would be targeting late round, and I think they'll probably make their way onto waiver wire lists throughout the season. And then the last situation I was trying to decipher is the Jacksonville backfield, right? You've got Liam Cohen coming in. Everyone's expecting this offense to be a lot better, right? Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., Liam Cohen, like should be an explosive offense. Let's figure out the backfield situation. Now, I'm looking at the prices of these running backs right now in best ball on Underdog. bhayshul Tuten, the 4th round rookie running back, extremely explosive. He's the RB37. Travis Etienne's the RB39, and Tank Bigsby is the RB47. That was crazy to me. If I had to have guessed prior to looking at it, I would have assumed, no doubt about it, Tank Bigsby was the one based off how he played last year. And don't get me wrong, I totally understand like the love for bhayshul tuten. He was a good player. I liked his film a lot. And he's a lot more fun, right? Like you get to invest in like the fun upside of a rookie. But one of his biggest concerns was holding on to the ball. Like he was a fumble machine. And then this came out like one of the first days of rookie minicamp. So there's a chance he could start in the doghouse off the rip just based on the fact that he can't hold on to the ball. We'll see what happens with Travis Etienne as well. There's been a lot of speculation about him getting traded. Like maybe he goes to a team like Dallas. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, like in order to move Travis Etienne, a team would have to give up like a 5th, 6th round pick at this point probably. So we'll see. If he moves, then obviously that opens up a ridiculous amount of opportunity in that backfield. But for now, what we're looking at and what we're working with is all 3 of these guys together. But realistically, I mean, it comes down to the fact that like Etienne was bad last year and Tank Bigsby was really, really good. Like his elusiveness rating, 6th in the NFL, 14th in explosiveness rating, 2nd in yards after contact per attempt, 10th highest stacked front carry rate. Some more numbers you want to throw out from Ben Cummins over here. It was just all good for Tank. He ran pure. Like the rookie season was abysmal. The sophomore season was awesome. You have to ask yourself, like, what is the upside for a dude like Tank? Liam's probably going to run a running back by committee, but I could see this being a world where Tank is the Bucky Irving and Tuten or Etienne are the Rashad Whites of the world, where they kind of get phased out of the run game, but are still very, very volume dependent in the passing game. And I'm not trying to fool anybody. Tank's not a good receiver, and he's not a high volume receiver, but I could see him being a dude who ends up running for 1,000 yards on 245 carries and gets in for 6 or 7 touchdowns and doesn't feel great on paper. But like those are the types of dudes that throughout the year, they're like your RB2, your waiver wire target. Like you feel good about having them because they're going to score a touchdown every other week and probably give you, 60 to 70 rushing yards and just give you a nice little floor there. And that's where I think Tank will really, have a year. So those are my breakout fantasy superstars at the running back position in 2025. Let me know who you got your eye on down below in the comments. And if you missed the wide receiver version of this, we will link it right here as well as in the show notes for the podcast people. And I will be back next week, probably doing this for the quarterbacks and the tight ends. But let me know what other type of content you would like to see throughout the summer. We are about to start ramping up now that we are in June. All right. I love you. Smoochies.